Okay, let's get back to the energy market, where we have the Chief Executive of Frontier Oil Limited joining me to talk about how, as a gas producer, they are dealing with this problem facing the issue of Forex and the ability to produce gas for electricity generation and other uses. Good morning, Mr. Thomas. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you for hosting me. Good morning.
I'd like you to give us a sense of what is going on in that segment of the market. Gas production seems to be facing a number of challenges.
Yes, I mean, you're absolutely right. There are a lot of challenges that the gas production sector is facing. I think the biggest one we're facing right now is vandalization and sabotage of pipelines. And as you're all aware, what that does is to basically reduce the availability of gas to power stations. And it isn't as if we have enough gas already. So it's really a tragedy when you have insufficient gas supply, further affected by disruption in supply due to vandalization. So that is a real-life, real-time problem that the industry is facing. But I think below that, the secondary problem, which will really come to the fore once the vandalization issue is hopefully addressed by the federal government and society at large, is the fact that there's illiquidity in the gas to power value chain. So, for instance, a company like ours, a small marginal field producer that has developed a stranded gas field for the Nigerian economy, we're not being paid for gas we're supplying to power plants. We're supplying 3 power plants, Ibom Power, Calabar IPP, and Alaoji, and many of them owe us for as much as 18 months of gas we've supplied, but for which we haven't been paid for. That is not a sustainable business model.
How do you think this money can be recouped from the generation companies? Do you think that the federal government should step in? In fact, a report I was looking at yesterday actually stated that perhaps for those who would want to access Forex, the federal government perhaps should consider having to give it the same value, the same rates that which pilgrims got, 197 naira to the dollar. Do you subscribe to that?
Well, first of all, I like the concept. I don't think you can go back to 197 naira per dollar any longer. What I do believe, and at the power conference which Dolapo referred to yesterday, I advocated and I will continue to advocate that the government needs to declare a power sector emergency. The gas to power value chain is terminally sick. And if you are all aware, if you're reading the papers, in the last 1 month, you see daily adverts, full-page adverts by the associations of disco owners, by the associations of GENCOs, that the sector is about to collapse and something needs to be done. Now, the suggestion that we should be given access to Forex at the same as pilgrim rates, I think there's a bit of humor in that. We certainly should be given preferential access to Forex, and the reason is very simple. The investment in gas is in dollars. Okay, we're not a technological endowed nation. The technology for gas projects has to be imported, okay, and all that is paid for in dollars. Then, due to the CBN regulation of 2015, if you remember, we're no longer allowed to collect our gas sales in dollars, but in the Naira equivalent at the prevailing market rate. Throughout 2015 and 2016, a company such as Frontier Oil and our partners, we were harmed in the sense that we were being paid for gas we sold at 197 to the dollar when the parallel market rate was 350. So we were losing nearly 50% of the value of our business throughout 2015 and 2016.
In 1 minute, what kind of emergency would you want? Because you talked about the government should declare a state of emergency in the energy sector. Do you want it to write off, perhaps guarantee these monies? perhaps assist Gencos and Discos who are owing gas suppliers?
Well, certainly the big problem is that the Gencos to whom we supply the gas are not being paid. NBET, the Nigerian bulk electricity trader, is only paying 26% of the invoices which are due. That's a disaster. That's not a sustainable business model. So somehow the government has to intervene in the sector to inject much needed funds so that NBET can pay invoices as at when due. Now, there are avenues for that. The kind of money we've saved from the so-called deregulation of the petroleum downstream sector should be brought into the power sector. That is one. There may have to be a recapitalization of NBET to be able to meet its obligation, but certainly we need quick, timely intervention. The sector is sick and about to collapse.
I'm sure the government is listening to you. Thank you so much, Mr. Dada Thomas, the CEO, Frontier Oil Limited, talking about the challenges being faced in the energy market and what the government should do at this point to salvage the situation. We'll go on a break, and when we come back, we'll be taking you to the Nigerian pensions market. Please stay with us.